Chapter 1. The call of industry and evolution attracted many people to the portside city of Boston after the war had died down to memory. Glimpses of the future and thrilling possibilities inspired weary travelers and experienced craftsmen alike to try their hand in the bustling harbor square. Great ships from distant countries made port to display their exotic wares and haggle the price of their rich spice. Farmers from miles around traveled down to sell their wool to the weavers, who worked such marvelous cloth, hanging them from the windows in wondrous style and color. When the sun first rose in the east each morning, the sea looked as if it was on fire, the masts of mighty ships silhouetted against the first golden light of day. At night, tall lighthouses lit the shoreline to guide incoming vessels around the maze of rock and reef, dotting the path to Save Harbor. After the war, the young American general took his family and moved south, away from the lands that had been source of so much sorrow for him during his time in service. After an uncertain voyage, he, his wife, and his 6-year-old son found themselves joining the ranks of people in the growing population of Boston. The general, now known to his friends and family as Faro Cully, began to work as a lighthouse keeper in the harbor. Glamour and fame did not accompany his humble work, but he and his family were content. In the evenings, by the light of a small fire in their hearth, Faro's wife would sing to their young son as she put him to bed. "Lee-lie-di-dee," she sang, "lee-lie-di-do." Her son sank down into the bed under his patchwork quilt. His mother placed her hand on the side of his cheek and kissed him on the forehead. "Here now, Vince, close your eyes and rest. You've had a long day." "Mom, do you miss home?" little Vince asked. "Our home where we used to live. It's so far away now." His mother smiled warmly. "My little Vince, home is wherever there are people you love and who love you. As long as you love, home will always be close around you. Good night." She placed another kiss upon his forehead and his eyelids sunk slowly closed. The young mother's handmade dress swung as she stood and walked over to where Faro sat, scribbling away on a piece of parchment. A slight frown rested upon his face, black soot from the lighthouse smeared across one of his cheeks. His wife gently placed her hand on his and he paused in his writing. "How is he doing?" Faro asked tiredly. "He is doing well," she replied, softly brushing the soot from his face. "He has traveled a long way for such a little boy. How are you?" Faro sighed. I'm fine." "You are tired," his wife said gently. "Not just in your legs and feet, but in your heart." "I just wonder if we did the right thing," Faro said, deep lines marking his brow and worry creeping into his eyes. "I just wonder if we did the right thing leaving behind our lives to come here." His wife paused, then took his hand in hers, pulling him to his feet. "I did not leave any life behind," she said, placing his hand on her waist and hers on his shoulder as if to dance. "My life is wherever you and Vince are. What more could I ask for?"
Darling, hold me close, whisper one more time. The dark don't seem so lonely with you by my side. If I could make one wish on a falling star, I'd wish for this forever. With you I'm never far from home.
Take my hand, my dear. Your love is all I need. I know when you're near that I am never far from.
Darling, hold me
My
close,
hand, my
whisper one more time.
dear.
The dark don't seem so
Love is
lonely
all
with you by my side. If I could make one wish on a falling star, I'd wish for this forever. With you I'm never far from home.
The fire crackled gently in the hearth, and the moon shone warm through the high windows as they danced slowly around their little home. The world was big, they were small, and though the future seemed uncertain, they were content.